Hello viewers and welcome back to the F1 2016 Multiplayer Championship for round 9 in Austria. And it's going to be a highlights video this time because I once again had problems with shadow play. Apparently, even though I did remember putting on the microphone, it still wouldn't record a microphone for me. It was only after I finished recording in shadow play, that's when it came up saying that I wasn't recording a microphone. So obviously there was a bit of confusion there, which meant I had no choice but to switch over to to record this video in highlights for the race in Austria. So I'm going to talk you through the race and how it went, which will be displayed right now. So then it was on to qualifying there, and I came out right behind Alan for a very wet Austria, which proved to be very challenging for the qualifying session ahead of us. But as you can see here in this qualifying session, I was sliding all over the place, and I was even struggling to control the car quite a bit, especially in a straight line where the car was just refusing to go in a straight line. Instead, it spent most of the time sliding, and it's even in around the corners did I also have trouble with the brakes as well, as they kept locking up on me. But I did manage to get the grips with the car in the wet weather, as I managed to put in a purple sector time in sector 2 on lap 4, or for my 4th lap out of the from the qualifying session. And as I came around the last 2 corners, I managed to put in a very fast lap, which brought me into first place on the grid. As you will see now in this highlights, I was coming along fast on the front straight when I put in a purple sector lap time. So that was something that was progress been made, as I was struggling at first, but I found a spark in the wet weather, and that's what got me going and had building my confidence for the race ahead. But it was later on in the qualifying session though did Alan manage to take first place off me. But the good side of that was that me and him had the front row locked out for the race ahead of us, which will be coming up now shortly. So then, it was race day in Austria. Me and Alan had the front row locked out, as we were both starting on the ultra soft tires. That was until Hamilton came out of nowhere and taking both of us by surprise. But then coming into turn 1, Alan had to go wide because he tried to avoid me there. And apparently I cut him off, even though I didn't remember cutting him off. I stayed on the racing line the entire time. But it was coming towards turn 2. I was taking Hamilton, but Alan was taking me. Not all of us was going to make the corner, so in the end, I got squeezed by both Hamilton and Alan, which caused both of them to be taken out. But however, though, a few laps had passed, and I found myself battling another Mercedes of Nico Rosberg. It was a pretty exciting battle indeed. We were swapping places, and we're even racing wheel to wheel with each other, pretty much going at full throttle here. So as you can tell, it was pretty exciting indeed. I was getting away with him at one point, while he was catching up with me at another point. However, though, as we were coming towards turn 1, the battle itself got pretty exciting. That was until he tried to make a dive down the inside. He broke earlier than me, but he ended up hitting me, which caused him to spin at turn 1. So I ended up still holding on to first place, despite accidentally taking out Rosberg, even though he hit the back of me. But for the some of that race though, I was pretty much taking it easy though, now that I had first place in the bag. That was until I looked behind me and found the 2 Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo there chasing me down. So I was pretty much going at full throttle once again, trying to do my best to get away from both Verstappen and Ricciardo. And at one point, Ricciardo made a move on me, as even though he was on the super softs. He got the move successful though. That was until I made the cutback and took him at the final corner, accidentally cutting the corner. But I didn't get a corner cut warning for it, nor was I told to give the place back. But in the end, though, I decided to be nice and be a fair racer and give the place back to Ricciardo, even though it costed me 2 positions. And then Raikkonen came out of nowhere. I got in the middle of the battle, and the battle itself was pretty exciting indeed. That was until we were going to turn 3, where I made a move on 2 cars down the inside. I ended up hitting Raikkonen, but then Verstappen came out of nowhere and sideswiped me, which caused me to go into the gravel trap. So for the remainder of that race, I was spending most of that time trying to pull something out of the bag, trying to do something to make up some time after that collision. However, though, the race itself got exciting again when I found myself battling Felipe Massa, who was also struggling. So me and him had a bit of a dicing for 19. So the excitement levels did build back up again when me and Massa were racing each other. However, though, it came out to the final lap. When I move over to defend Massa, he ended up hitting me from behind, and I ended up hitting the barrier, which caused me and him to collide with each other, coming into the second to last corner. So my race was even more ruined as he came out the least injured of all, shall we say, which caused him to finish 18th and me finished 19th. So it was a pretty miserable race, though. But hopefully Silverstone will be a little bit more exciting. So thank you for watching this highlights, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.